Welcome into another episode of the 3 Fever Point After podcast. I'm your host, Alex Anderson, joined as always by Bossier offensive coordinator Jeff Harper and another special guest for us this week, Loyola quarterback Bryce Restovich. I said that right, correct?
Yes, sir.
Got it. And, y'all got a few names on the roster I'm going to ask you about here in a couple of minutes. But
some of them I really don't even know how to say.
Good. We'll try to learn together. But it is great to have you here. Another guy, coach, obviously you've worked with a ton. And Bryce, I guess just to start things off, you guys have looked good this year. You're slinging it out there. Little high-flying action we're seeing from the Flyers this year. Talk to me about the season so far and how fun it's been for you.
Man, it's been a blessing for one. And just like all the stuff that he's taught me with quick game, footwork, mechanics, it's all translated to my game.
Right. And
it's helped me a lot, and I can't thank him enough for it. But also, my line has been really good. They've only allowed 1 sack all year. And other things, like my receivers are really athletic. Like, they can make plays in open field. Ben Brewery's really good. He's fast. Brock has great hands.
Right.
Jake, he's always reliable. And even Colby, I've practiced with him since the last week of last season.
Okay.
It was after the playoff game, and every Sunday we've been throwing at either D1 or indoor and other places that we just always would throw. And so that's always translated and had our chemistry like really well. So.
And Coach, you work with a lot of guys, but Bryce is one you wanted to bring in, and why was that?
Well, it's interesting. He talked about Colby. So Colby Hamilton trained with me from probably 4th grade until last summer, and he started making the transition to tight end. Colby's 6'5", probably, and just, well-rounded athlete, and decided that he wanted to go a different route, and so he brought his quarterback with him, and that's really how I connected with him. He used to play against his dad when he was at Byrd, and it was a cool deal. And so when Colby was coming, he'd come catch routes and all that, and he'd bring Bryce, and Bryce started working out, and it's like, man, this is good stuff. And so just having that opportunity to work with both of them is really it's unique. At the same time, to see how both have progressed at their positions, it's been fun to watch.
And you've been high on the Flyers this year, and you just played them.
Mm-hmm.
What do you like about what they're doing on offense right now?
Well, I got my coaching start at Loyola, so it holds a special place for me. Coach Jeter was the head coach there, and so he gave me my first coaching job in 2011, and then Sella joined the staff in 2016, and got to coach Matt Norton, who's one of the best players to ever put on the uniform at Loyola, and then followed Jacob Allen, another really good QB that came through there. And so, watching them and watching the transition from Coach Green to Coach Sella, and how John's kind of put his stamp on the team, it's been good, because he was really just a receivers coach and helped with play calling when I was there, but he was very knowledgeable, and he's taken the system, he's turned it into his own. And so, seeing those young guys that used to come with Colby to quarterback training sessions in the summer when they were with the Jets, to see them on the field and putting up the numbers they're putting up, and all the hard work that those kids have done. I mean, I've been training quarterbacks 20 years, right? And it kind of shocks me it's been that long. But Colby was one of those guys that brought his buddies with him everywhere. Every training session, he had those guys out there. Coach Gosley was, coaching them at the time when they were the Little Jets. And he said, look out there and see all these dudes just, playing well and putting up big numbers. And going from, going up a classification, now they're in 4A. They were, I think y'all were 2A last year?
Yes, sir, we were.
2A to 4A, and really hadn't missed a beat.
Yeah.
Been very competitive and in the mix for the district championship. So it's been fun to watch all of them, put up big numbers and have a great year.
And it certainly feels different, kind of the vibe out there with you guys. I shoot a lot of your games because you're so close here to the station, right, over at Mesmer. And I can't put my finger on it exactly. And I assume Coach Sella has a lot to do with that. It seems like you guys believe that, not only can you win the game in front of you, but you can do big things. Talk to me about that and what Coach Sella has done for you guys.
Man, he's been awesome. Since the first week he was announced head coach, we knew it was going to be a great season. And we knew he was going to push us to be our best, because our first summer workout, it started there. Like, we already were practicing and everything, and just working on, speed drills, strength. He's taught us a lot, like, that can take us outside of football too. And he's pushed us, like, to be really good.
Yeah.
have that grit to be great on defense, show out on offense, and even special teams, man. We spend a lot of time on special teams. So, yeah, he's made a great impact, and I expect a lot out of him, and he expects a lot out of me. So, and we have a good connection like that. So he's just great. I don't know what else to say. He's just amazing.
A lot of great things, and we love that. So when we obviously coaches taught you so many things when it comes to quarterback. When we have guys come in, I try to teach them a few TV things as we go. What I'm about to do right now is definitely a TV no-no, but we're on a podcast, so I think it's okay. Bryce's family's here watching. Guys, if y'all want to go around through the Weather Center, y'all can get a better view of everything going on right now. I just felt bad because as I'm listening to, I keep seeing them kind of peek over right there. So I'm like, just come on around. Podcast for a little more free. We can do stuff like that.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
It'll be fun. We can kind of produce as we go on a podcast, so we love that.
No pressure, bro. Now the family's right there.
Oh yeah, here we go. Now we got the audience on. Perfect. There's some chairs over here. Y'all are all good. Whatever y'all want to do, and y'all can take Patrick's chair too. He'll get over it. When it comes to Loyola, I do have so many I don't want to call them dumb questions, but questions that maybe an average guy like me would like. First of all, how dang cool is it to be the only high school in the country that gets to wear Snoopy on your helmet?
I think it's a blessing. It's a gift, honestly, because we are going to be really good, and I really want, I've always wanted to make Snoopy known, because we are the only school in the world that has that, and I actually never knew that until my dad told me. I think on my tour.
Yeah.
He when I was touring Loyola, and he told me, I was just like, I didn't know that. That was pretty cool. So I thought that was cool, and I think we're the only school that has a gong too. Yeah. So that's really cool tradition.
That was my next question I was going to ask. Does the gong get you guys as fired up as it gets me when I'm having the camera out there?
1,000%. There's just, I don't know. It sends you so much adrenaline and energy whenever you either score or get a big hit like Carter did, interceptions. You just hear that gong go off, and it just triggers everything.
That's awesome. Did you even know they had a gong out there? Yeah, it's.
They had it when I was there.
Every time I go out there, I'm surprised at this point they don't just go ahead and hit it, because as soon as I walk over there, I'm like, do the gong. It's one of my favorite things. And you guys' jersey game is clean as
I
can
love
be.
it.
I mean, it is.
Where are the blue lids at? The blue helmets? Y'all still have them?
I don't think we still have them anymore.
And y'all had the blue helmets, and then you went to the powder blues with jerseys and stuff? Your uniform game is on point.
Yeah, it is among the best in the state, I'd say.
Yeah, there's no doubt.
It's a beautiful look. It's all working for the Flyers right now. Obviously, we have a lot more to talk about, but I feel like we've talked so long without mentioning one guy and one particular performance that we saw last week. Peyton Houston.
Unbelievable.
817 yards. I mean,
it was crazy.
Unbelievable.
The most ever that anyone's done in the country over Shreve last Thursday night. And you still lose that game, which is crazy too. I mean, how do you even describe something like that? I mean, it's almost impossible because it's something we've never seen.
Well, I mean, anybody to have 800 yards of offense in a game is legit. A lot of coordinators are trying to get to 400.
Right.
That's kind of your,
And that's total offense.
Yeah. If we were efficient, 400, 500 is a good night. And that's balanced. You're not looking at just one-sided, just throwing the ball. Right. And so. It's really impressive, and the fact that he did it, 10 touchdowns. I think he had 2 rushing touchdowns, and then 8 passing touchdowns is very impressive. But the number of throws and how many guys touched the ball, very efficient. Managing the game and very explosive. And then to have a game that like that in Shreve pulls it out when they were in the same type of game the week before with Airline it's nuts. I mean, what we're seeing, and we've talked about this. Yeah. It feels like we're talking about it every week. What people are seeing in North Louisiana with quarterback play is it's not normal. This is not even it's rare what you see in the type of talent. You see all these stories about Texas quarterbacks. Texas is a massive state, lots of talent. We're talking about Shreveport, Bossier. Yep. We're talking about a small area, and you can go to any high school, and there's a legitimate quarterback that's playing there. If they don't pull him out late in the ball game, he could have thrown for 500 yards against us. Right. There's been games this year. Week 1, if they're not playing in a monsoon, he probably throws for 400 or 500 in that game. So, I mean, it's staggering the type of talent that you see, and it doesn't come without a price. Like, they're paying the price in the off season to do these things, and so super impressive. And then Brody Savage. I mean, we can't overlook the fact that he went he went over 500. Plater went over 300 again 2 weeks in a row.
Insane.
It's just unbelievable, man.
Wow.
And kudos to those guys, and just shocking what you're seeing.
And I mean, he was on Pardon the Interruption, or they talked about him on Pardon the Interruption. Roy Lang with the Shreveport Bossier Advocate on PTI, they kept saying, "Well, how many overtimes could it have been?" And Roy was quick to say, "Well, he had 10 yards passing in that overtime." So 807 in regulation, I think, would still break the record. And for you, a local guy that sees this happening, I mean, what goes through your head when you see this crazy stuff?
I mean, I've known Peyton since I think 6th grade,
Right.
and I've been really close. Me and my dad have been close with his parents, and I was just like, I saw that, and I was like, dude, I feel like that's awesome for you. Like I only felt like good for Peyton, and I was just like.
And then you're probably telling Stella, "Don't take me out, man. I gotta get under.
Yeah,
Give me a shot,
upset.
coach.
I'm still
Don't pull me out."
I'm upset about Southwood, St. Fred's, even Bossier a little bit, just because I was getting pulled out early, and then I couldn't throw the ball in St. Fred's. So
you still had 5 TDs, so you had a good day.
Yeah, and he's mentioning this St. Fred's game, first game of the year. You lose that game with 8-6.
Yeah.
That had to have been the messiest game you've ever played in.
Oh, my bag's still muddy, and our jerseys are still stained. So.
Love it. Yeah, it was we love those highlights on TV because it looks awesome. You know, but
kind of like Evangel Neville a few years ago,
we
where it
didn't
destroyed their field.
We didn't love that one.
It destroyed their field, man.
Well, you know why I didn't love that one? I got my car stuck in the parking lot out there. I had to. On a Friday night, I had to have a tow come to get me, and I barely made it back in time for the show. It was and I think that game was 8-0 too. A bad snap on a punt was the only score. Yeah, as long as you don't have to park out there, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was rough.
Man, I feel like we have a lot to get to, but another big game in our area this week, or the first big game we're talking about this week, Parkway Huntington. You feel like whichever team loses this game is kind of out of it, the district race. I was telling Sydney Lane, who's going to be at that game for us, the way both these teams run the ball, you may be out of there by 9:30. What do you think about this one, Coach?
Well, my wife and I were talking about this today. So, Parkway scheduled homecoming this week.
Oh,
and Huntington does not like being anybody's homecoming date. Huntington's really good. They're coming off a 1-point loss last week, and it was one of those deals where, from what I could tell, that game could have been theirs easily. The things that Huntington do well, they run the ball very well. They're big in the box. They're very physical. And they're going to run it right downhill on you, make you stop it. Well, what does Parkway do very well? They've got Dudley in the backfield. That's a big joker, and he does the same thing very well. It's going to come down to what everybody knows. It's who doesn't turn the ball over, who capitalizes on field position, and who puts the ball in the end zone. And so, Parkway last week was forced to throw the ball with Gavin, and Farrington came out of the student section the week before and was unbelievable. This is a different animal. And Airline made some adjustments and forced, long throws. And there's not a lot of timing there. You got 2 weeks practice, so it's not enough to stand in the pocket and drive the ball 40, 50 yards down the field to guys that haven't been playing outside wide receiver, mind you, because their outside receivers are not playing right now. So that's tough for Parkway. So they got another week to try to figure it out, and they got it figured out against arguably one of the most physical defenses in 1-5A. So, and you ticked them off because now they're your homecoming date.
Right.
And I think Huntington won last time they played there. Not 100% sure. I think Cam Evans was the quarterback when they played there last time and won.
Love Cam.
So it's going to be that's going to be a war. And like I said, I don't like picking winners on that, but that's going to be a game where you lose. It feels like you're out. Really, now I want a home playoff game.
Right. Yeah.
We're talking about home playoff games. And so Parkway with only one loss, and Huntington's got the week 1 loss to West Monroe. They do not want to drop another game. They can't afford to. So they're going to be on high alert and watch out because they're still in the mix to win the district.
Right, 100%.
Because they still have Airline on the schedule. So it'll be a good one.
And I wasn't necessarily too surprised to see Bird win that game last week, especially after what had happened to him the week prior. It seemed like it was going to be Bird was going to remind everyone, we're not going away.
Yeah, I think Harrison threw 4 touchdowns.
Right.
That'll
including
shock,
late.
That'll shock anybody, right? Because it was 2 turnovers against Parkway that was the swing.
Right.
That game was 40-35 in the fourth quarter, and it was a turnover that Parkway got deep in their territory and scored quickly. So that was the difference in the ball game, and they come out against Huntington and put it in the air 4 times, I believe. I know he had 3 touchdown passes.
Yeah, he had one late. The game-winning score was a touchdown
pass. So, watch out for whoever Bird plays, and Huntington's coming upset, and Parkway's coming off a loss, and so it's going to be a good one.
Yeah, we're excited for that one. And our game of the week is Ruston Neville, which, I mean, my goodness, that's going to be
shootout probably.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's going to be a war too.
Yeah, and Ruston had a scare last week. They won on a missed extra point to survive by 1 point. So I expect the Bearcats, the defending champion Bearcats, to be fired up. I did want to talk about y'all's district a little more. You see what North DeSoto did last week against Minden.
Yes, sir.
Shocker.
Yeah.
Shock.
What was kind of the vibe around the locker room when you take a look at that score? It was lopsided, and it was lopsided quick.
Yeah, so, I mean, not much I could say. We were also mad because they scheduled us on their homecoming, and I think we were really upset about that.
Yeah.
And we lost, so it was even worse. But we shouldn't have, and we know what we did wrong.
Right.
But North DeSoto came out strong, and I think they scored on their first 3 possessions in a row off of, like, onsides and good passes from Luke. And they also ran hurry-up offense, which – I think we should have game planned better for, because they were getting tired very fast.
Yeah.
And that's basically how they won the game, is they tired them out.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, we saw that and we were like, okay, now we need to like really focus, because we do have North DeSoto soon.
Right.
And we saw what they can do to Minden, but we're not Minden, we're Loyola, so we want to be a lot better than that, especially than what we displayed against Minden.
Yeah, and so we have kind of been talking to Coach Dunn about Cole Corey. Does look like he is going to be able to come back, which is great for
be huge for them.
Everyone to be able to watch him play. But the thing that stuck out to me about that game in Stonewall is Coach told Sydney that he felt that was the best game Luke Delafield has ever played in high school.
Hard to believe.
Yeah, and I mean, he was doing it all. I mean, he had our crunch of the night. He ran a kid over and ran right through him. When you see a guy perform like that, especially his senior year, what does that tell you about him?
Well, I mean, he's a competitor, and the fact that he's not trying to get down. Like, we've been watching film. We have Northwood this week, so I've watched that game probably 10 times, and he's lowering the boom on dudes. He's not trying to get down or get out of bounds. And I know Coach Dunn's probably over there saying, be smart with the ball and don't take unnecessary hits. Same thing Jeter's going to say to him. And listen, Jeter will put the fear of God in you.
Yeah, he will.
If you don't do what he can. That's a big son of a gun, right?
He is.
Like, you're going to hit me if you don't make these decisions right. I could just imagine what it's like when Delafield's squaring guys up in open field. But he's a big dude. He's a great athlete, and man, he wants to win. Like he was in the dome, and he wants to go back. And they were so close last year, and they're trying to put it all together. They scheduled, really tough schedule this year. They're putting it all together. And here's the thing, you don't have their best weapon. You can tell there's a difference on tape. Cole Corey makes the offense go because he's the vertical threat. And if you get him the ball in space, he makes one guy miss. A 12-yard completion becomes an explosive touchdown. And so they're fun to watch. They're a tempo team. They play as fast as anybody, if not the fastest playing team offensively in the area. And so they're just now hitting their stride, man. They're getting it going.
And Bryce, what class were you, sorry?
I'm a sophomore.
A sophomore, that's what I thought. Do you, even though he is an opponent, do you look at someone like Luke Delafield and think, there's some things I can learn from this guy?
Yes, sir. I think about Ben Taylor, Luke,
right.
Abram, because I did train with, when I was going with him, trained with Abram and Ben, and even LJ Huntington, and I was just like, man, these guys are really good. Like, they have great arm strength and can like zip the passes. And I wanted to learn like that too, so I started working on that and just trying to like mirror the things that they do, especially with like footwork and stuff like that.
Right. And how tall are you?
I'm 6'2".
Yeah, so you're good. You're in good shape.
Yes, sir.
And he's got 2 more years. Watch out.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. So, man, that is awesome, and we're so excited. You guys have Woodlawn this week, so talk to me a little bit about that game since we got you in here.
Yes, sir. So we have already watched a lot of film on them. We're going to watch some tomorrow. I break it down with my dad every night, and we just try to game plan about, the defenses, the coverages, and how they move, their tendencies. And just, I think we can easily win this game. we just have to be sound on offense.
Right.
And I think we started a little slow against Bossier, and we can learn a lot from that. And I think when we start learning like over film and just watching what we did wrong, we need to start practicing it and getting in the right habits, because stuff like that didn't pay off. Like we were only up by, I think, 7. Was it 7 against y'all?
14-6 at half.
Yeah.
Wow.
So we just got
But
to
we
come
had
out
one
winning.
good play. One. A 90-yard touchdown run on a quarterback sneak that should have never. We were just trying to not. We didn't want to punt from the back of the end zone.
Right.
And he just happened to have some speed. And
There you go.
but what's funny is, so Brock will text me, once a week or whatever, and we're shooting the bull, and he's giving me the breakdown of the opponents. So he's not lying. Like, he's telling me, like, they're soft in the box, or these guys are really good in the secondary. Can't tell what coverage it is. They I don't even know if they're playing whatever they're doing. It's really good insight. So it only helps when your kids are getting that reinforced at home. They're that
Right.
much more prepared. Plus, it helps that Dad knows ball and played ball at a high level, and so that's what makes it fun. I mean, those are the times that I miss just with my son. We watched film together from when he was in youth ball until he graduated. I mean, he was my film partner, and so they're getting to do it, and you're seeing it translate on the field. And watch out, Woodlawn. Y'all got a tough one Friday.
Yeah, for sure. And Woodlawn's got that running back, 14. Is it Quentin Wilson? Is it?
I don't know his
forget
name.
every-
I know the number 3. Henderson
Number 3 and
kid's stud.
14 are their
Oh yeah,
studs.
when I was at they played Southwood last week, and I've got my phone out because I'm about to text Sydney real quick. I'm going to get her to bring us your program because I want to go through some of these names before we let you go on the roster. So when we get that done, more podcast
We're definitely
stuff.
on a podcast.
That's it. Bring the Loyola program out here, please. When Southwood was getting ready to punt, Mike Green, Henderson was back to receive, and I could hear Mike Green, "Do not punt it to
No,
him.
don't. He's good."
Do it." And it was real funny. But man, we are so happy to have you in here, and again, I've loved watching you guys this year. Like I said, it just feels so different than maybe what it's been in the past, and to get that
Yes, sir.
young head coach in, an infusion of youth on the roster, it really has seemed to pay off. And Coach, I'm trying to think of any. Oh yeah, there was another game we needed to talk about before Sydney gets out here. Lakeside and Red River.
Yeah, that's going to be
6-0 Lakeside.
So, first of all, Lakeside, congratulations on a huge win Friday night. Manny hasn't lost a district game. I could be wrong. 2013, I believe. So that's impressive in the fact that they went in there and handled them like that. It's good. So Red River's coming off a huge win. In fact, I thought that Mansfield was really the team that was going to win that district, and they still can. But Red River sits in the driver's seat, them in Lakeside. So that one's going to be a good one. And I believe Lakeside's going to Red River, and so Red River's made some changes schematically on offense and defense. It's kind of fitting their personnel,
Right.
and their schedule was pretty tough. So I expect them to put up probably going to be the toughest game that Lakeside's played so far this year.
Yeah, and then we kind of mentioned Manny. We have been mentioning Manny, but that was their first district loss in how long?
A long time. I want to say 2013 is the last time they lost a district game. I could be wrong though.
All right, Sydney is here. She's got the program for us. Thank you, Sydney. And,
Great job.
all right, here we go. We're gonna go through some of these names on the Loyola roster.
Yes,
Oh,
sir.
we got some good
Don't
ones
you
here.
butcher QB. That's going to be a problem.
Well, Restovich is. We got that.
Yeah,
we had that.
It
handled.
should be easy to pronounce.
All right, here's our first one right here. What do we got for this?
Okay, Budashetsky.
Budashetsky.
Yes, sir.
Okay, Jack Budashetsky, number 72.
I'd be calling him Bud.
We
Bud.
call him Bino.
Okay. I like Bud, whatever you want to do. Okay. We got some easy stuff. Oh, yeah, there's one right there. Let me make sure I'm not missing one when we go. Okay, all right. There we go. What we got?
Wojciech.
Wikovich?
It's like, I think it's Wojciech.
Sydney had a
Wojciech?
Wojciech. Sydney said.
Wojciech, yeah. It's really hard to pronounce.
James Scott.
A lot of the letters are silent.
Oh, yeah,
wait.
you would hope.
I think I sat by his parents at the game the other day.
Okay.
His dad's a coach.
His dad's one of the coaches.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm going to show y'all a video of Sydney before we go. Did y'all see her doing her cheerleading stunts with one of your coaches?
No, but we
Coach
need to.
Cat?
Yeah.
We're going to
I
need to
didn't
see
see it.
that.
Amazing stuff. Okay. Well, was that all of them? I know y'all got one more, right? One more that had me,
I don't
had
think
me
it's a
stumped.
senior, but I don't remember who.
Oh, yeah, that was only seniors. It's all right. We're going to keep a look. This is a podcast. We can do whatever we want, okay? Let's see here. You know what? I think we're good, man. I think those were the two tough ones. People struggle with your name too, but that's nice and easy. So, all right. Well, we learned how to pronounce some names. Talked about the Flyers. Talked about big games. Last thing I always have our guests come in and have them do is we got people listening to this, or watching at home on their computer, whatever, wondering maybe what I should do on a Friday night. Why should they go out and support you guys and watch a high school football game?
Well, I think it's because of tradition and how our school takes pride in their logo and takes pride in our school and our name. We come with a lot of energy too, and we put up a lot of numbers too. So, and our defense is electric, and it's very fun to watch, very entertaining, and yeah, I don't want to see a reason not to. I mean,
and there's a gong.
And there's a
Got
gong.
man.
There's a gong.
Easy as that. I wish
got
we
a
had
gong.
one right here to signal the end of the show. That'll
That would
do
be
it.
awesome.
Anything else, Coach?
No, I think he got it.
Yeah, I think he nailed it. All right, well, you can just imagine the gong in your head as we wrap up another episode of the 3 Fever Point After podcast. Friday Football Fever, presented by Southern Classic Chicken, coming your way Friday night at 10:30 on KPXJ CW21. We'll see you then, and we'll see you back here every Thursday morning.